move on. Next, we have Elijah, who has a talk on virtual influencers. Hello, Elijah. I'll get you on.
How's it going?
It's going good. How are you?
Yeah, good, thank you.
Cool.
Yeah, I'm going to talk to you today about virtual influencers. So
brilliant.
Hopefully I can get my slides going. Right. Okay, so virtual influencers. What is an influencer? So influencers make money from having big Instagram and YouTube followings. Usually that'll be at least 100,000 followers. Some are already celebrities who have huge fan followings. Some become famous online and obtain sponsorship deals with companies who want their products to be advertised. So an influencer's popularity is usually based on the type of content that they produce, which is often related to an aspirational lifestyle. So it'll quite often be fashion, fitness, makeup, travel, music.
Sorry, just to interrupt, Elijah. Did you have slides you were sharing? We can't see them at the moment.
Sorry. I haven't shared it. Sorry.
Sorry to interrupt.
No, not at all. Thank you, Doug. Knew I was missing something. There we go.
There should be a share button down there.
There we go. What an amateur. Share screen. There we go. Sorry about that, everyone. Just looking at my face. Right. This will be a bit more interesting. Cool. Can you see that now? Yeah, cool. Okay. So, yeah, quite often it will just be lifestyle-related things, so fashion, fitness, makeup, travel, music, or sometimes just wealthy people posting about their lives. So below here, we've got some pictures of some human influencers, but the rest of the people that we'll see, with the exception of Kim Kardashian, are all CGI. So what is a virtual influencer? So a virtual influencer is very similar to a real-life influencer, except they are CGI identities constructed by companies in order to generate advertising revenue. So virtual influencers have on average twice the engagement value of their human counterparts, and they're able to respond immediately to the latest trends at the click of a button. So in terms of advertising, they're very useful. So anything a human influencer can do, a virtual influencer can do with more control, glance value, and engagement, according to Christopher Travers from the dystopianly named Virtual Humans. So who controls virtual influencers? Behind each virtual influencer are clever creators, brands and individuals with a keen eye for technology who remain faceless. They're the ones responsible for growing the Instagram platforms and molding the virtual figures into the internationally recognized influencers that they're quickly becoming. So ultimate brand control. Unlike their human counterparts, every aspect of a virtual influencer's identity can be controlled, so they'll never behave in a way that's offensive to their sponsors, which makes them great tools for positive representation for causes such as Black Lives Matter, LGBTQIA rights, battling climate change, and there's even one that is a bee who is campaigning to save the bees. Ultimate flexibility. So virtual influencer can work from anywhere at any time, which makes them a real hot commodity because they've got no transport costs, no visa limitations, and in light of what's happened recently in the world, no COVID-19 restrictions. So they're very desirable to advertisers. They can be edited onto any backdrop that their creators want. So if they want to have an influencer that likes to travel, they just need a high-res image of anywhere in the world, and immediately the virtual influencer can tick that off their bucket list. So here's one of our 2 case studies. So Lil Miquela was created by a transmedia studio called Brud, and they were the first visual influencer to gain mainstream popularity via Instagram. So Lil Miquela now has over 3 million followers, is a recording artist with over 250,000 monthly listens on Spotify, and also has a streetwear clothing line and has appeared in brand campaigns for Calvin Klein and Prada. So Brud creates digital, character-driven story worlds, and in response to Lil Miquela's success on Instagram, Twitter, and SoundCloud, Brud secured $6 million in venture capital funding, subsequently creating 2 friends for Lil Miquela, Blauko, a self-proclaimed low-life robot man, and Bermuda, an LA it girl and aspiring musician. The creators control the way that their characters look, dress, and act, but also who they interact with, which allows them to cross-pollinate between their different characters and gain more followers for each of them. Now we're moving on to Shudu, who is the most realistic looking of the influencers we'll be looking at today. So Shudu is regarded as the first virtual supermodel. So she was created by photographer Cameron James Wilson, who taught himself 3D modeling using online resources and YouTube videos. He claims that Shudu represents something that he's always seen as beautiful, but something that he doesn't see often enough. Shudu has appeared in numerous advertising campaigns for Samsung, Balmain, and Rihanna's makeup brand Fenty Beauty. However, there's been a huge backlash surrounding Shudu's use in such high-profile campaigns because she's a very successful example of a white man not only profiting from creating a black model, but taking up space that could also be filled by a real black woman in an already saturated industry and with an added competitive edge. So the creator observes, imagine if a real model was scanned digitally and then could work anywhere in the world, anytime, and do multiple shoots a day. So we've got an example of some of the backlash on Twitter to his creating of Shudu. Your local sweetheart, with a white photographer, figured out a way to profit off black women without ever having to pay one. Now, please tell me how our economic system is in no way built on, and quite frankly, reliant on racism and misogyny. And then a bit of a livelier one from Grace. Hold TF on. So someone made up a black model when they actually could have just hired a real life black one at your big age. Trash. So moving on from that into body image, which is obviously closely linked to models. In addition to concerns surrounding cultural appropriation and exploitation, there are also concerns surrounding body image. Human influencers such as Kim Kardashian have previously been critiqued for promoting certain beauty standard that enforces unrealistic expectations on their followers' bodies. Instagram actually began hiding digitally altered images in 2020 in a response to numerous studies finding that young people's body image is heavily influenced by Instagram, and the Advertising Standards Agency banned the use of misleading filters on beauty advertisements. In 2019, the retail and fashion industry made an approximately $3.6 billion investment in AI investments, meaning that CGI models will become increasingly more visible. Currently, there are 148 different virtual influencers listed on virtualhumans.org, and that's growing all the time. So many in the industry have voiced concern about the non-realistic message that companies send out by using virtual models, featuring the impact that normalizing CGI models' bodies could have on consumers' self-esteem and body image. And that's really nicely illustrated here by Shudu's boyfriend, Coffee. So moving on to pornography. So these concerns surrounding body image also have a potential influence on things like porn, where exploitation is already a concern. When CGI humans inevitably become a staple in pornography, will a level of exploitation be removed, or is there a danger of normalizing the more extreme behaviors that virtual stars will be able to perform? Social media and pornography already have some potentially damaging effects on teenagers who, according to a 2020 UK study, are increasingly turning to pornography as an educational tool because schools do not tell them what to do in early sexual encounters. The same study found that boys boasting about what they'd seen in pornography led to anxiety amongst girls about whether they could meet such expectations, as well as concerns about aggressive or violent sexual behavior. So on the theme of concern for child safety, child protection, the increasing availability of CGI personas also has the potential to be misused by those attempting to groom children online, and that's usually people posing as other children. So there's currently no legislation governing virtual influencers and their online interactions with humans. A great example of legislation racing to keep up with technology. This is currently at the discretion of their creators, who have both vested interests in making money and conflicting opinions on how this should be handled. So the Virtual Influencer Agency have been working to promote a code of conduct which would ensure that practitioners watermark any virtual influencer images and make it clear to their followers that they're not engaging with a real person. However, the creator of Japan's first male influencer, Liam Nikoro, sees it as more of a social experiment, saying, among those virtual humans, there will be some where we will not tell the public that they are virtual. I'm very excited to see whether fans will communicate with these virtual humans as if it's a real person. Continuing our dystopian journey into the world of virtual influencers, another concern surrounding this is the potential for terrorist organizations radicalizing and recruiting new members online. Once a lie is out there, retractions don't change the way that people feel about something, whether it's Pizzagate, a vote leave bus, or even a message not to vote. We've got a quote here from the Virtual Influencer Agency saying the risks are potentially huge. Take every issue we've had with social media, trolling, fake news, false information, issues affecting our psychology and our democracy, and times it by 100. Imagine engaging with characters controlled by governments or nefarious individuals telling you things that are completely untrue. And that takes us into politics and activism. So if a charismatic persona pushes a political agenda, it can have a far-reaching influence, particularly when targeted at specific groups. Virtual influencers may be good for representation, but ultimately they have no actual affiliation, so no restrictions on what they can do morally or ethically, which begs the question, who's culpable when a guilty person is not a person at all? Without any legal parameters, virtual influencers like Cambridge Analytica are a political tool for sale to the highest bidder and have the potential to influence much more than just Instagram. And if anyone's interested in finding out a little more about any virtual influencers, there's some links at the bottom here for their Instagrams, so you can join their ever-growing followers. Thank you very much.